Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. WandaVision has been my favorite thing for, the last 8 weeks now, and just because it ended yesterday doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking about this show. We got some post-credit stuff to dive into. We just talked about the second scene. I did that one first because it features Wanda. If you want to know my thoughts on the Wanda post-credit sequence, you can check them out right up there. But now it is time to turn our direction to Miss Monica Rambeau and what we got before that second post-credit scene. So ain't pull up a chair, take a seat. We are getting ready to dive into the first post-credit scene from WandaVision Episode 9, the series finale. And as I said, this one is all about Monica. And in it, you see Monica talking to Jimmy, and Jimmy is like in charge, man. He's pointing everybody around, and even Monica's like, being in charge suits you, Jimmy. Like, I like it. And I hope that just means that Jimmy will be more important with any kind of FBI or outside like law enforcement presence that gets brought into any of the Marvel stuff. I just hope that means that we're going to get more Jimmy Woo going forward. But the key stuff to take away from this scene happens when a different sword agent comes up and it says Monica is wanted in the movie theater. And we head into a empty movie theater, which just has such a connection to currently. If you have ventured out into the movie theaters, if they're open, or since they've been reopened, there really ain't too many people in there. I went twice around Christmas to go see some stuff, and in both instances I was the only person in the theater. And just seeing a movie theater in general is like, I miss that, man. Like, all the movie theaters in the real world are empty for the most part, and that's sad. But that aside, we're in here and it's empty because there's nobody actually there to talk to Monica. It's just this sword agent who happens to be a Skrull. We see her change as she mentions that a personal friend, someone close to Monica's mother, Maria, sent her down to gather her up. And as she turns into a Skrull, my first thought was, oh, maybe that's Talos' daughter. That Skrull that Monica actually has a legitimate connection to. But considering that Monica and her didn't react to each other at all once the transformation was finished, I think that's just a Skrull and just signifies to the fact that they're a Skrull on Earth. We don't know it because they are hiding in plain sight as different humans, potentially even as heroes. We know that the Secret Invasion storyline is going to start also being built via the show of the same title. And that whole thing is about the fact that there are Skrull hidden on Earth that have replaced different superheroes. And those Skrull are not good Skrull. And that just could be the fact that there are good and bad Skrull in the world in general, and the bad Skrull might be hiding and kidnapping people. That's a conversation for a different day. But seeing just a regular old sword agent become a Skrull just tells you that there are more Skrull out there that look like people. But considering there's no reaction from either of them, don't think that's Talos' daughter. Now, when she says that, a friend of your mother's, I've heard some people say, oh, it's probably Captain Marvel or Carol calling her up. I don't think that's the case. When Monica heard Carol, get brought up at all, it was Jimmy said it. Captain Marvel, she could have taken, Thanos down if she needed to. Monica didn't respond to that very well. So I think there's some kind of beef between those two. Whether, the reason Monica's mom had cancer maybe ties to something she did with Captain Marvel. Just that, her mom died, and Carol, where was Carol to let Monica know, 'cause she's been back for a little bit. And yeah, just the way she responded, I don't think that it's Captain Marvel. Plus, the Skrull then says he is looking for you, and she's like, where? And she points up. That he is got to be Nick Fury. And if it's Nick Fury, then like I said yesterday during my spoiler review, that means that Monica is heading on up to that Sword space station, where Sword originally was hanging out. I think, even though they didn't say this in the comics, sentient world observation, when they were up in space, I think that's the space station that Nick Fury was on. And then in the course of this 5 years, I think Hayward changed it to sentient weapon. observation and response department or whatever. But yeah, that's who's calling Monica up, and that's exciting because that means Monica could be, a full-blown storyline in the Secret Invasion show. It could mean we finally get to dive more into her back history. Maybe her relationship with Carol, maybe how she got her powers. I still think she had her powers before she went into that hex, just because of the scans and things that they ran and the fact that she responded the way she did there. I think she's had her powers, so maybe we'll finally get to find out how she had them, what her powers actually do, if they're tied to her mother at all, who became Photon in the comics and is listed as Photon up on the wall in Sword. So the idea that that's where Monica is going is a lot of fun, and I don't know if, Secret Invasion is going to, like I said in the last video, Kevin Feige said you don't have to watch the shows to watch and understand the movies. So even though Secret Invasion is the actual title of the comic run where the Skrulls replace, heroes, Elektra gets killed and she shrivels into a Skrull, and all of a sudden everybody that was reading was like, wait, what? Just because that's the title, I would think that is probably building us maybe toward our next Avengers movie, and that next Avengers a level threat. If it's not Wanda and the Scarlet Witch, it could be, the Skrull invading Earth. So maybe Secret Invasion is going to focus more on the Skrull-Kree War, and maybe find out how, Monica ties into that. Maybe there'll be some Captain Marvel stuff. But that's the general feeling I was getting from that. There wasn't a ton to pull out of this scene, but saying up there, and that screams Nick Fury. That screams Monica going to be in the Secret Invasion show, and obviously continuing to see, how she is built as a character. And like I said, I hope we get some more background stuff. We get to see her just full-blown doing cool stuff in space with her powers. And it would be interesting if it ties into the Skrull-Kree War at all, or if that's what Captain Marvel is going to focus on. And Secret Invasion could be teeing that up. At this point, I don't know what is teeing up anything with all the schedule changes and where we are, in different productions. But that was what I took most away from that. Now, there is this, fact that this guy just disappeared. And I kind of want to tie that in here because WandaVision set up a very clear science path and a very clear magical path, and Vision is tied to that science path. And on the science side of the coin, I think very much could be maybe Falcon Winter Soldier. Maybe that could be leading us somewhere where what the White Vision could play in. Maybe the White Vision, though, when he took off, he went straight up. Maybe he went to the Sword space station. Maybe he went to go look for Nick Fury. Maybe he went to go look for Tony first, right? Like, the one thing that bothered me yesterday is that he didn't go to find Wanda after he got his memories. Where else would he go? Considering he was killed before Tony was, he wouldn't know that Tony's gone. And if he has, the computer element of him where he can kind of patch into the internet just through himself, maybe he found out Tony died and he's going to find Pepper, or he's just going to try to find him because that's his dad. If there's one person that he has a larger tie to that's not Wanda, it would be Tony. And maybe that journey leads him to Nick Fury, who might have some answers, or where to go next. Or if Wanda is MIA after he goes wherever he goes, maybe Nick Fury could be the guy with the answers. And maybe we see Vision pulled into the Secret, Invasion storyline. Again, that post-credit scene doesn't give us any of that, but if we're theorizing, Wanda's got all this magical stuff going on. White Vision's got to tie into whatever is going on that's not magical. Maybe that's Secret Invasion, maybe that's, Falcon and Winter Soldier, maybe it's none of those things. But because he disappeared, I figured we'd mention him now and where he could end up. And I think he could be trying to process stuff himself and figuring out more things. But in case he pops up in Secret Invasion, I figured we'd mention him now. And he's on my shirt. In my last video, you heard me mention New Rockstars has these really awesome Wanda and Vision shirts. Go check their merch out If you dig them, I have no affiliation with New Rockstars. I just like dope stuff, and I like to tell you guys about dope stuff. And I believe Eric Voss said they were almost sold out on stuff. So if you see this and you think it's dope, go check it out. Maybe they still got some. If not, come back here and watch some more of me. But yeah, there wasn't a ton to really take out of Monica's post-credit scene other than like Skrull definitely on Earth, in plain sight, being disguised as humans. She is definitely going to that Sword space station, which means she'll be in the Secret Invasion show. And I hope that continues to, because I don't know how much Sam L. Jackson is like fully in on this stuff. I know it was supposed to be his show, but I don't know what he signed on for. He's always been more of a background character than a main story character outside of the Captain Marvel movie. So maybe, Monica is the person that we're really going to follow in that story. That's the most I can take away from that scene. And then just throw out maybe, hopefully, we get some answers to where White Vision is or stuff like that, because I just don't want to wait that long. I want to know where he is and what he's doing. And he's on my chest, so I want to mention him. But those are all my thoughts, man, on the first post-credit scene from WandaVision Episode 9, the series finale. Not a ton there, but what did you take away from that one, man? What did you see? What do you think is going on in that scene? Where could we be going with Monica Rambeau's storyline from here? Anything you're thinking about that first post-credit sequence, down below in the comments. Look forward to talking to you down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man anytime we're talking about Wanda and Vision, the MCU, just movies, TV, trailers in general. You like what I'm doing over here? You haven't yet? You want to show a little love, support? Jump over there, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. If not, just hope you come give it another go here at the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down. But until that time, for the C-Man Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man, and I'm signing off. Peace. Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.